I just want to briefly mention, we have discussed the issues of Khojaly massacre, and I'm very proud of the fact that we in the Senate of Pakistan were the first to declare it officially as genocide. In the Foreign Relations Committee in 2012, and then when I was chairman also of the Defense Committee in October 2013, we officially declared it, and we were the first from Pakistan side in the Parliament of Pakistan. So we have had a very strong camaraderie, a strong commitment to the cause of Karabakh. And I congratulate Ambassador Faradov not just on the victory against the Armenian aggression and the liberation of Karabakh from Armenian illegal occupation, but also on last week's election of President Ilham Aliyev. And earlier there was the election of President Erdogan. I also wanted to congratulate the Ambassador of Turkey, because leaders like President Erdogan or President Ilham Aliyev are very important for stability and continuity in important strategic countries. And for us, it's a matter of pride, because President Erdogan is a very dear friend of Pakistan also, like President Ilham Aliyev. And they've always supported Pakistan. So we were praying in Pakistan for the victory, because there were a lot of confusion by the Western media and others that it's a very close fight, and they were trying very hard to defeat the very popular AK party there. But I'm glad that the people of Turkey are on the right side of history and they voted right. Let's have a brief look, ladies and gentlemen, at the massacres, when we just talk of major massacres. And I just want to give a brief review of that. Of course, everybody talks of the massacres which were in Second World War. Holocaust, we have always condemned the crimes against humanity committed by the Christians of Europe against the Jews of Europe, which happened in the time of Nazi Germany, in which no Muslim was a party to that. And after that, the first massacre after World War II took place in occupied Kashmir, in Jammu. Jammu had a population of 411,000, less than half a million, out of which the majority, 55%, were Muslims. And there was, in October and November 1947, extermination of Muslims in Jammu. The first massacre after World War II was in occupied Kashmir. And the London Times reported this on 10th of August 1948. Elimination of Muslims from Jammu. There was a full article. London Times, I'm quoting them. 10th of August 1948. And that has all been covered up by history. What I'm saying is that these are crimes that have been covered up. And of course, those were those days, difficult days. Pakistan had just come into being, and we were just trying to survive. But the crimes were committed under the auspices of the Indian state and the Dogra rulers who were there against the Muslims of Jammu. And that is why that ethnic cleansing led to Jammu not having a Muslim majority anymore after the massacres. And then, of course, Khojaly massacre was very clear. It was a long, actually, history of Armenian aggression and ethnic cleansing against the Azeri population. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, the religious factor did play a role in the mindset, in the bigotry, in the hatred, in the malice towards Muslims. And that took place very openly. And it was soon after the breakup of the Soviet Union, and the world just watched. And there was a new state of independent state of Azerbaijan, although Azerbaijan existed in 1918 also. The first republic was created after First World War, but then it did not last long. And so there's a long history in that. And then we come to, of course, the famous massacre in Africa. Rwanda was there, where again 1 million people were killed in 90 days. 1 million. And it was mostly tribal and ethnic, Hutus and Tutsis. And then General Jaffrey mentioned a thing, and I've been to Srebrenica myself also. And then I also had the honor and privilege of being in The Hague when the trial took place in the International Court of Justice against Milosevic. He was then tried for the crimes against humanity. And he and General Mladic, who was the chief of army staff there, where 8,000 Muslim men and young men, boys were massacred. First, they separated the families, the women from there. This was done, ladies and gentlemen, under the watchful eye of Dutch peacemakers, peacekeepers. United Nations force, which was there for the protection of the civilians. And they were Dutch. They were there. And later on, the Dutch government apologized after 20 years. But, the crime was committed under their watchful eyes. They withdrew. They allowed that to happen. And this was a modern crime in July 1995. And General Jaffrey was ambassador to Bosnia. He knows about that. Then there was another massacre close by. The massacre in Gujarat state of India under Modi, where Muslims were massacred. And when we talk of massacre, a member of parliament of the Gujarat State Assembly, Ahsan Jaffrey, was burnt alive in front of his own eyes, in front of his family. So these were huge massacre crimes. And that's why Modi was banned from visiting UK and USA. The visa was not allowed because there are US laws which forbid those who have committed crimes. And you as a lawyer, Senator Mushahid Iqbal, would know that then you are debarred from entering that country. You're on that blacklist. But then when he became prime minister, then he was allowed. So I think, Gujarat massacre, let's not forget that. And then the Rohingya massacre. Rohingya, about 43,000 people have been killed so far. Over a period of time, ethnic cleansing actually, over a period. And then 1 million people were evicted from this land. And now we are witnessing the Gaza massacre, which is the first televised massacre in the history of the world. This massacre is being televised. It's on live TV. It's being shown everywhere. And you can see the worst kind of double standards by the United States, by the European Union, by the Western countries. It's worst kind of hypocrisy. That's why when Biden had this conference on democracy summit, they did not invite Turkey. They invited Pakistan. Although Turkey is a democratic country, elected with elected people, because of political reasons, Pakistan said we will not go. We boycotted it. We didn't go there because they use democracy and human rights as a weapon. It's weaponized against countries whom they have a problem, political problem, that is. So I think that we are very cognizant of that. And I'd also like to mention, there's a gentleman by the name of Gregory Stanton. He's an American. He's the president of an organization called Genocide Watch. It's an American organization. And he gave testimony to the US Congress last year in January. And he said, and I quote, "A genocide is in the making in Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir and Assam." And he has given, and please see it in the internet, 10 markers of how events lead to a genocide. He mentions that first you start demonizing a community. Then you start discriminating against a community. Then you start legal actions against the community. Like India, it is happening. They put markers on their house, they say they're Muslims, they have to be. And then how this genocide took. 10 points. This is very interesting, very scientifically done. And he has talked of genocide in the future in Kashmir and in Assam. So I think it's very important that when we remember Khojaly massacre and genocide, we have to remember that never again should such crimes be repeated. And I salute the leadership of Azerbaijan. They took the decision. And that's what President Ilham Aliyev told me. He said, don't worry, it won't last too long. It means that he was very clear, decisive, that he will take action to protect the people of Azerbaijan and to uphold international law. And I would finally say that what a great visionary Dr. Allamaiqbal was. That in his New Year's message for 1938, he is talking of the tyranny of imperialism. He is talking of the spirit of freedom. He is talking of the dignity of man. He is talking of the beasts of prey. He is talking of the brotherhood of man. These are universal values which are as relevant today as they were 86 years ago. In fact, I would say more relevant today in this world which is being divided on the basis of hate and bigotry and malice. And we are very fortunate that we have this intellectual tradition there. It was Allama Iqbal also who said 90 years ago Dekh mashriq se ubarte hue suraj ko dekh. See the sun rising in the east. He was the first to predict the emergence of the Asian century, which is dawning today with the shift in the global balance of political and economic power from the west to the east, where centuries of Western hegemony is coming to an end. And he'd also predicted the rise of China. Gara khab chini संभलने लगे, हिमालय के चश्मे उबलने लगे, गया दौर सरमायादारी गया, तमाशा दिखा के मदारी गया. The rise of China he also predicted. So I think that we have, and that is why Iqbal has that universality. I'll conclude with my visit, with the anecdote from my visit to Sarajevo in 1993. I went there with Mr. Nawaz Sharif in 1993. We were the first to break the UN arms embargo against the people of Bosnia, the Muslims of Bosnia. We were carrying support. We gave them 1 million Deutschmark in those days. And in return, President Ali Izetbegovic presented us a book. The book is called Islam Between East and West. And I opened the book and it says, dedicated to the memory of the great poet of the East, Dr. Muhammad Iqbal. This is Ali Izetbegovic in 1993. And I asked him, I said, sir, you are a lawyer, you are from communist Yugoslavia. How do you know about Iqbal? He said that his works were translated in our language. And I learned and I was inspired by Iqbal. So look at the inspiration of Iqbal, the universality. His kalam is mostly in Farsi and Urdu, but the message resonates to the oppressed, to the enlightened all over the world. And that is the power of narrative. A powerful message doesn't get lost. And that message is of freedom and for fighting against hegemony. And Azerbaijan has done a great example in that, mashallah. We are proud of that. Thank you very much.